Okay, Shalom Aleichem. Welcome, everyone. Those both live and etc. Yet last week, those that were here or listened on the recording, we went through a little of the importance of learning the proper pronunciation of the words, and why we kind of described in a way that the letters and the words that we say of the Torah and Tefillah are the vessels, are the kelim, it's called, and that's what how Hashem created the world, meaning that Hashem, we said, is like the or. He's the shefa, he's the good, he's the bracha, and he created vessels or kelim to receive the or. And the letters of the Alef-Bet we have the Torah are the beginning of the makeup of all of the kelim, of all the vessels, and that like the word or, we have an example, or Aleph Vav Resh, that's the makeup of light. And the word kiseh chaf samech aleph, a chair. So those letters, because each letter has a certain energy, has a certain power. So when you put those three together, which Hashem did, the chair, or what we call chair, is created, or maybe almost like the concept or the DNA of the chair. So, right, we said each letter has a certain shape, the name. So therefore, because the letters and the words that Hashem made, like we see in the Torah, are like the building blocks of creation. So when we say the words, because Hashem created us in His image, so to speak, so when we say these letters, when we say words, our mouth, our words have the power also to create or to bring down bracha, or the chasron, the opposite. So that's the concept of prayer in general, tefillah, or anything, or like learning Torah. Like the Zohar says all the time, when we learn Torah, every word of Torah we say, we create worlds. And therefore, that also teaches us the importance of trying to pronounce the words and letters correctly, and that's what we said, we're going to try to learn. So we did also mention that, like we said, the words and letters are the vessels. So what's the light? The light is our kavanah. That means, like the Gemara says, or the Midrash says somewhere, that tefillah without kavanah is like a goof without a neshama. So if you just say the words, but you don't have any kavanah, you don't have any intention or any feeling of a connection, then it doesn't mean it's nothing. It still has power, but it's definitely not the same. So we said it before. We say it again, that do not let this class or these classes, which means we're focusing on saying it properly, get us too distracted. Like I said, sometimes it happens, like we're trying so worried to say every letter and everything properly that we completely forget even we're talking to Hashem. So remember that tefillah especially is a form of connection to Hashem. Like the Gemara says, it's avodah shebalev, it's an avodah in the heart. So we definitely have to have the heart as much as we can involved. And again, the heart means both just trying to understand what we're saying, and if we don't understand every word, at least to understand, like we said, to think that, to realize we're talking to Hashem, we're serving Hashem. And also, like the Tanya says, is that every mitzvah, and especially davening, to have a certain, as much as we can, a certain form of love of Hashem and fear of Hashem. I think there's a famous mashal that Tanya gives. Every time we do a mitzvah, the two wings that carry the mitzvah is fear and love. We say l'shem yichud. Anyone who says l'shem yichud, but before mitzvah we say bitchilu urchimu, urchimu d'chilu. Bitchilu means fear, urchimu means love. So we say it both ways, probably kabbalistically, with fear and love and fear. So it's important to remember that every mitzvah, and maybe even more, especially tefillah, we should try to do with a certain level of fear and love, and because those are love is the right, fear is the left. Like I was talking right now, the class I had, is that the love is the chesed, which is what helps us to do the positive mitzvahs out of love of Hashem, and the fear helps us to not do the negative mitzvahs. But right, so anyway, last time we started with the letters. So let's go back because we kind of went through quickly, right? So we said that the letters of the Alef-Bet are split up into 5 sections, depending on how we pronounce it, from which part of the mouth. So let's just review, okay? So we said, and this is actually based on Sefer Yetzirah. We said Sefer Yetzirah, they say it was written by Avraham Avinu, it's one of the oldest Sefarim, and like the Ben Ish Chai also says that everything we learn on the Pshat, including this, like simple level, everything also has a deeper level as well. So the fact that these letters are split up into different parts also has a deeper meaning. So we said that the first section was from the throat, Garon, and there's 4 letters of the Garon. So it's Aleph, like the highest up, Aleph, A, He, Ha, then Het, which is lower, it's like a stronger He, Het, and Ayin all the way on the bottom. And I want to go say again that people mention to me it's hard sometimes to do them, especially if you're not used to it, you grew up differently. So yeah, if it's, like I said, too difficult to change, so fine. So it doesn't mean we're not Yotze, it doesn't mean we didn't fulfill our obligation. Like I said, the Ashkenazim especially have their Mesorah, their Minhag, even some Sephardim, they don't do these. So, we're not saying they're not Yotze. But like everything in life, the more we can try to do it more accurately, the better it is. Again, the kavana is the or, and the guf, the letters and the words, when we pronounce it, is the guf, is the body, is the keli, is the vessel. So the stronger both are, the more powerful it is. So I said maybe a person wants to start. We said that maybe the best place to start to work on these is the Shema, because Shema is from the Torah, so that's maybe the most important place to try to say them properly. And maybe if a person, it's like we said, too much to do all of it at once, change it. So start with like one letter at a time. Let's start with Ayin. So like I said, Shema. Right? The first word of Shema has an Ayin, Shema. So it shouldn't be Shema like an Aleph at the end. It should be from here, Shema. That's the right way to do it. Okay, so those are the 4 from the throat: Aleph, He, Het, and Ayin. Right? We said that the Ashkenazim usually say the Het as a Chaf, a Chet. But as we see, the Chet is going to be the next, the Cha sound is from the next section from the palate. So that's why we hold it's not a Chet, it's a Het. And some Sephardim, or maybe Persians especially, sometimes they easily mix the He and Het. They both say both the He. Like, so it's not the correct way. But again, if that's what they do, if that's like their minhag, then meaning, although I said it's like I said by like everything, it's good to try to work on it. But if a person, it's hard for them or whatever, then they have what to rely on, so to speak. That we're not saying they're not yotze. Okay. The next, so that's the first. The next was from the palate. So what was the 4 letters of the palate? Gimel. So here I'm going to go. We kind of mentioned quickly that we have 6 letters that change if they have a dot in it or not, a dagesh, right? I think the Sefer Yetzirah also says that the letters are all split also into 3 sections, 3 different sections. We have 3 letters that the Hashem started the world with, that creation started with. It's called the Imahot, which are which letters? Aleph, Mem, and Shin. Aleph represents air, Mem is water, Shin is fire. Those are the 3 mother letters that like the world start with. Aleph, Mem, Shin, Emesh. Then you have 7 letters under it, which is like, I don't know, you could call it the next level, which is kind of like 3 is the 3 top. Always you have 3 sefirot on the top, like that represent the Shamayim, Keter Chochmah Binah, and then you have 7 under, 7 sefirot from Chesed to Malchut. So what are the 7 letters that are represent these? It's letters Beged Kaparat, Bet Gimel Daled Kaf Pei Reish Tav. So again, each one represents a different sefirah. And the Sheva Kochvei Lechet, there are 7 stars of the galaxy that we, I mean, there might be more, but that the Chachamim kind of would refer to. They even say now, those 7 that the Chachamim that talk about are the 7 that are the most, I guess, the ones that are, I guess, the most the pertinent, that closest to us, and etc. So anyways, and a lot of things, that's why this rule is based on 7, the 7 days of the week, 7 colors of the rainbow, 7 the notes in music. So Beged Kaparat, and then the whatever we didn't say, all the other letters, which is another 12, is the bottom 12, which represents like the 12 months of the year. That's why each month is corresponds to one letter. Nisan is Hey, Iyar is Vav, etc. So that shows you again that each letter has its own qualities, its own nature. Okay, so I'm just showing you that the letters can be broken different ways. But going back, we said there are 6 letters that change based on if it has a dagish, a dot in it or not. Beged Kefet. Now I said there are 7 letters that are in that middle category that I just mentioned in the 7 Kochvei Lechet. We said that it's Beged Kaparat. Interesting why when it comes to pronouncing the letters, the resh is missing. Meaning, you understand, it's the 6 letters, the letters that we change based on the dagesh, for some reason there's no resh. We would think that, why is it only 6? It should be 7, Beged Kaparat. So they say the truth is, because those 7 letters have to do with the level of dat, which is like in between the head and the body is dat, okay? And dat is like where we make decisions. So in other words, it's like there's chesed and gevura. So therefore, these 6 or 7 letters, they change based on, if I'm just showing how everything has a source in Kabbalah also. So these 6 or 7 letters they change if it has a dot or not, because with the dot is gevura, that's why it's a little harder. Without a dot, it's chesed, it's softer. So we're going to show you. So like gimel, officially with a dot, it's gimel. That's how we hold it, like the way we say ge. And without a dot, it's like lower rimel. Like again, I said how like the Israelim say aresh, re, like tebari. That's how we really hold it should be a gimel without a dot, rimel. So for example, it should really be Maren Abraham. But this people like confuse this with the quf. See, that's why you have to practice to make sure you don't mix them up. If it's too hard to differentiate, so just do everything gimel. But officially, gimel without a dot is a rimel, Maren Abraham, like a soft gimel, Okay, so gimel or rimel. Okay, and we're going to go to those other 5 or 6 that they change, bet, vet, kaf. We're going to go through it to the thing. But the point is, I'm trying to say that gimel is one of the 6 letters or 7 that change. The way it's pronounced, the way it sounds changes if it has a dagesh or not. Now, I left off a question. Why is resh missing? So we said if there's really 7 letters in that category according to Kabbalah of the dat, so resh should also change if it has a dagesh or not. And resh usually doesn't have a dagesh. It's very rare. But they say that resh, we lost no one really knows how it's pronounced, the difference with the dagesh or not. That's what I'm saying. So practically it's only 6. Technically it should be 7. Resh should be in their category. But for some reason, resh we seem to have forgotten. In fact, even till today, resh is a letter that a lot of people have a struggle with how to say it, or some people say it with a little more towards the front of the tongue, resh, and some people say it more like the R in the back, the more American way, ra. So anyway, okay, so those are the 4 letters of the palate. Oh, I didn't even go through them. Gimel or Gimel, Yud, Kaf. Oh, this is another letter, Kaf or Chaf. So that's one of the other letters that change, Kaf or Chaf. And Quf, we said that officially it should be more towards the back. Quf, like I said, when you gulp, qa qa qa. That's how we, at least the Persians, Sephardim do it. Qa. I mean, I've heard other Sephardim do it differently, like Harvadi. I don't think he did like the Persian qa. He did like just more like a stronger ka sound, like in the back. But anyways, that's how Armenian is qa. Okay, so that's the letters of the palate. Then we have the 4 letters of the lips, bet or vet. That's another one of the letters that change, bet or vet. Then we have vav. So this is something a lot of people ask, or is that, so we said, l'chora, why should vav be the same sound as vet? So we said last time that really, they say that vav should be a wa sound, W sound, wa, or wow. But many people, including myself, don't say it as a wa. Why don't I personally do wa? I tried doing it, and I don't know, for some reason, it seemed to like distract my tefillah so much. Like I said last time, if it hurts your kavana, then I feel, I mean, it's my personal, is that it's not worth it. I don't know. I think because I feel it sounds too different, and it's going to just cause like a certain like lack of, I don't know, of respect for the tefillah. It's weird. It sounds weird. I don't like doing things that sounds weird. Like, you're not supposed to take away the respect and the whatever it's called, the awe, especially if you're Hazan. So, but officially many people do it, and so some people were telling me that Rabbi Netanyahu was telling me, at least when they do Birkat Kohanim, they should say panau. So it's not panav, panau. It ends with the W sound. Some people do it subtly, so it's very hard you can't even tell they're doing a wa. If you do it subtly, it's smoother. So I don't know, maybe one day I'll try to transition if it's subtle, if I can. I'm just telling you that's why not everyone, it's not easy for everyone. I think I mentioned that. I think from Rav David Yosef Shlita, the Rosh Hashanah, that he said it's Masha from the Zohar, that it's not wa, it's va. Okay, but I just wanted to present the different minhagim or opinions. So that's what. So the lips, be or ve, bet or vet, va or wa. Then we have mem. These are all from the lips. Mem and pe or fe. So that's another letter that changes. We said beged kefet. That's one of the letters that changes with the dagesh. Pe or fe. These are all from the lips. Then we have 5 from the teeth. Zayin, samech. Then you have tzadi. So tzadi, I'm saying it the way that Ashkenazim or many Sephardim say tza, like a pizza. But again, the real Sephardi way is they say not tza, but rather with a stronger sa, like a. So it's hard to even figure this one, but it's like almost the back, a little back towards the back of the mouth. Sa, like there's forward and then. So they say Persians have the difference in their alphabet. So those that can do it good, some Persians just do both of the sa, okay? And if you do tsa, fine. I mean, again, like like I keep saying, I'm not saying that you're wrong in the sense that there is a concept of misora, but okay. I think I mentioned, maybe I've seen that Rabbi Ben Sion holds that that is their minhag to do tsa. Okay, fine. A lot of these things come because a sa is to be stronger, so it developed, instead of being a sa, which is hard to do, it's a tsa. It's like a stronger sa, right? And resh. Now resh, you're going to ask, like I did, why is that part of the letters of the teeth? This is resh is listed as one of the teeth. Resh doesn't seem to be from the teeth; it's from the tongue. It should be part of the tongue ones, which is the next section. I don't know why it's in the. section, maybe because that shows you that we actually are not pronouncing the resh the way that it was originally made. I mean, maybe like I said, we lost the difference between resh with the dagesh and not. Maybe we totally lost the actual pronunciation. Which again, it's interesting because a lot of people, they don't pronounce the resh the same. I said some people like more towards the front, re, which is hard for some people, and some people do more from like the back, re. Okay, but this is all from, like I said, Sefer Yetzirah. So, and the last one is shin and sin from the teeth. So we have shin when the dot is on the right is a shin, and then on the left is a sin. You're going to say, what's the difference between sin and samech? The answer is there's no difference. There's no difference. Why? You're going to say, what do you mean? I thought every letter is different. Because shin is already a different sound with the one on the right. For some reason, I don't know, it's a Kabbalistic reason, when the dot is on the left, it becomes like a samech. And what's the proof that it's the same? Because sometimes when we go the Alef-Bet, if you want to open your siddur and you see in the Birchot Shema of Shabbat, in El Adon al Kol HaMaasim, we go in order of Alef-Bet, right? El Adon al Kol HaMaasim Aleph, Baruch U'Barach Bet, Gadol Tov Olam Gimel, Da'at V'Nosem Dalet. You keep going. Get to Samech. It's not Samech, it's sin. What does it start with? Semechim et Setam. How did Samech become sin? Because the answer is because it's the same sound. So, since the whole point we said Alef-Bet is all the sounds, like we're praising Hashem with all the possible sounds our mouth can make, so you can, sometimes the samech becomes, it can be interchanged. Okay? Then the last group, is with the tongue. So you have dalet or dalet. So here also officially we hold that dalet without a dagesh, without a dot, should be like the word the in English, the or that. That's what technically it should be. Again, most people don't do it, but when it comes to saying, when we're saying Shema, the Gemara says to stretch out the dalet of Ehad. So there it helps, and the only really way practically you can stretch out the dalet is if you say like the word the, meaning the sound the. So it would be Ehad. Otherwise, with the dalet sound, how do you stretch out a dalet? Like the de is, what do you do? Ehad. I mean, you could technically keep your tongue there, but it's not so easy. So that's why officially it should be ehad, like that sound. But don't do ehad. Don't add the. Don't add a vowel. That's what we're going to get to. Some people, when they want to emphasize something, they start to add a vowel to the end. They go like Birkat Kohanim, some end off with shalom or amen. Don't add the Don't add a vowel. It's ehad. And you end off like that. And the Gemara says, whoever stretches out the dalid, Hashem lengthens, one who lengthens the dalet sound, Hashem lengthens his life days, which is interesting for that little thing. That's because obviously that means there's a very deep secret of stretching out the dalet. They say when you stretch out the dalet, you have in mind to give up your life for Hashem, and mitzvah chaper avonot, and that Hashem rules the four directions, etc. A lot of kavanot. Hopefully we'll get to it. I was thinking eventually maybe get to a little of the rules, halachot, and maybe meanings of the tefillah as well as Hashem. Okay, so those are the five. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't finish. That was the first. Daled or daled. Then we have tet. So we said that tet is very often, most people say the tet the same as a tav, but officially tet is a little different, and they say it's supposed to be a little stronger, like more at the teeth. So it's supposed to be more like tet. I know it's hard to almost even hear the difference, but there's tav and tet. Okay, a little stronger, a little with the teeth, but if again, if you could do it, it's good. Then we have lamed. These are all from the tongue, right? So daled or dalet, tet, lamed, nun, and tav. But this is the last letter. We didn't mention that differentiation between dagesh and not. So how do you say tav without a dagesh? So officially we said what? The word think, tha, which sounds like you have a lisp. So it's torath emeth, officially. And again, I personally don't do it. It's, again, for the same reason, it seemed to distract my davening and make it sound weird. So I don't do it for now. So, but some, again, do it subtly, so you can't tell so much, like Torah emeth. You can't really hear the thoughts. You don't like Torah emeth and make it so thing. They just do it like a more subtle, quieter. Maybe if you're davening by yourself, but if you're Hazan, I don't know, it's a little harder. Okay, so those are the 22 letters in those 5 groups. It's interesting, again, the dagesh, the dot, what does a dagesh mean? An emphasis. So you see all these 6 letters that change, it's stronger when it's a dot. Just feel that stronger. Bet is stronger than vet. Vet is softer. Be, ve. Gimel is harder. Rimel is softer. Da and the. They're all softer without a dagesh, because that's the whole point. Dagesh makes it stronger. Pe, fe. Ka, cha. And ta and tha. That's the the svara, the way it works. Okay? So, the Gemara itself talks about the importance, if you can, to differentiate between Aleph and Ayin, and especially not to mix them up. Sometimes if you mix them up, you can change the meaning completely opposite. Like if a person, I heard some recently, a Kohen, that he was saying the Birkat Kohanim, and I think Gemara talks about it, and instead of saying Ya'er, I heard him kind of saying Ya'er with the Ayin, and that Chas Shalom be the opposite meaning. Instead of Hashem lighting His face towards you. So Kohanim, especially when they want to say Birkat Kohanim, it's a bracha. Every letter is very powerful. You should make sure not to mix them up. I mean, the word Ya'er, you don't really see that word. So, but I've heard that it could refer to like the opposite, like a negative connotation. Okay, so that's the first chapter in this sefer. The next chapter, it really just goes into like the Gemara and Brachot. We could really just quickly, very quickly mention that when praying, especially Shema, the Gemara says you should try to differentiate between when the one word ends with the same letter as the next word starts, like Bechol levavecha or Al levavecha, or Etchem me'eretz. So you should split the word, you should small pause so you don't swallow one of the letters. So al levavecha, bechol levavecha. And then Tosfot adds that also if one ends with like a mem and the next one starts with an aleph, also not to like make it one word, like v'samtem et. If you say it quickly, it sounds like one word, v'samtem met, and chasom could be like chasom met. So again, it's important, v'samtem et devara ele. And especially by Shema, which is from the Torah, that's why it's maybe the most important place to be careful with these things. But I did like the Beit Yosef brings and others that we should try in all of the davening with these things. Okay? In fact, we're going to see later, a lot of times we got so used to saying words so quickly, like a bracha, that the words Baruch Atah, it sounds like either one word or it became like Baruch Atah. That's how it came out for people saying. Instead of saying Baruch Atah, it sounds like people saying Baruch Atah. Or Melech. Instead of Melech Ha'olam, it sounds like they're saying Melech Ha'olam. That's how it comes. A lot of these letters get mixed up. So it's very important, like especially with Hashem's name, especially with brachot, to be careful, to say the words carefully. And like we know, like the Arizal says, whoever is careful to sing brachot carefully with kavanah, it's a very big tikkun for the nefesh. It helps to, it brings a lot of brachot to a person's life. Okay, now the third parak is the vowels. So vowels we're going to spend few minutes on. Today we'll probably maybe end with this if we get through everything. But basically we have vowels. In the English alphabet, the vowels are part of the alphabet, A, E, O. But in Hebrew we know it's not part of the alphabet. It's a little sign on under or above the letter. So basically he says we have officially 10 vowels. Even though we're going to see maybe we think we have more, but officially 10 vowels, and they're split up into two groups, 5 and 5, and these 5 correspond to each other. That means each of the 5, one is the big one is the small one. Okay, so it's 5 big and smalls, or it says father and the offspring. And we're going to see a lot of these things are very interesting that many people will realize, wow, they didn't know a lot of these details. So, the first of the 5 is kamatz as the big one, and patach as the small one. So here's a very interesting minhag or minhagim, where Persians happen to be maybe the most accurate. It comes out from what I understood and heard when it comes to pronouncing the kamatz and patach, because I grew up, kamatz. I'm sorry if I wish I had a board, but kamatz is where it's a line of horizontal and a small vertical in the middle. Looks like a upside down, no, a T, a T. Anyways, the point is that it's what we say is So like Baruch, the first letter Baruch is a kamatz. So we pronounce it like the English word under, basically, like the U, Baruch. As opposed to Patach, which is just a vertical line, like under the letter Ata, and the word Ata, or stuff like similarly, we say as like the word that, So and That's how Persians and many Sephardim do it. But it's interesting, a lot of the other Sephardim, especially the Syrians, you'll hear more like, you hear clearly more, and Israelim, they basically say more than the same, like almost like both as an Like, that's why you hear them say parasha. You don't hear them say parasha. You know, like they speak, the parasha or Shabbat. They don't say Shabbat. We say officially the under the shin is a patach, sha, and then under the bet is a consonant, Shabbat. But for some reason, they don't differentiate. In fact, some of the big Ashkenazi Rabbanim were a little like wondering why we don't make a differentiation. And they say that when we say Hashem's name, you have to say it as a kamatz, not a patach. In fact, because sometimes one place in the Torah, the word Hashem, Aleph, Dal, Nun, Yud is with a patach, where Lot is talking to the angels, and he's therefore not referring to Hashem, he's referring to the angels. So, and there's the patach. So they say if we say Hashem's name like a patach, it may not even really be Hashem's name. That's why that one place that the Ashkenazi, big Ashkenazi rabbis, like the Hazan Ish, had a little more of a kasha on some of the Sephardim. But again, if you say it like we say the that's good. And then do, and then nai, not nai, nai. That's important to say as a sound, nai, like the Ashkenazim, they don't do it completely, they do it like a half o. They go oi. They do like, if you're like Avraham. They don't do Avraham like we do the Avraham. They make it like an o. So they have their way. Okay, so that's the first of the two, and comments and pattern. Then we have tsere and segol. This is one of the most interesting things that a lot of people were like get, they did surprised. So tsere is the two dots, one next to each other. And the segol is the three dots, two on top, one in the middle under it. Tsere, segol. You could look it up in the Sidurim. Many examples of this, okay, all everywhere. So the Sephardim hold that both are Ashkenazim with the tsere, two dots, they go a. So, like the word et, if it has a segol, they go eight, or with them this is saf. When you mention that they're without a dot, they say saf. So they ace. They like add a yud there, ace. But we hold no, it's never a, it's just So what's the difference between a tsere and a segol? They're both There should be a difference. So we say really a tsere should be a little longer. Again, to do it properly, it's a little longer. And Now, what's the best example where this comes out? In Aleinu L'Shabeach. Right before we bow, and we say, right before we bow, what do we say? We say that the goyim umitpalelim el lo yoshia. We said two L's, but they don't mean the same thing, because the first one has a segol, means two. The second one is a tsere, which means a god. They pray to a god that doesn't help, that doesn't save, right? We say that we're thanking Hashem that He didn't make us at the goyim, who they bow lahev levarik, and they pray el lo yoshia. So really the best way to do it is what? To say like this, umitpalelim el lo yoshia. The second one should be a little stretched out more to make a difference between the two. Umitpalelim el lo yoshia. That's just an example to contrast the two. So any other place, Elokenu. Now here, it's even more interesting. This is one of the ones that even a lot of Sephardim don't know, that officially, even if there's a yud after the tsere, we don't pronounce the yud. I know it's very surprising because what do you mean? It's a yud. But that's what we hold, and we have proofs to this, that sometimes the yud is silent. So it's not Elokei Avraham. The yud is not pronounced. Not Elokei, it's Elokei. You just stretch it out. The you said Elokei Avraham. Or it's not Elokeinu. We should at least say, that's not how we say. Ashkenazim do that, but we are first supposed to do Elokeinu. The yud is silent. So that's one of the things that I think a lot of Sephardim don't know. So it's not Bnei Yisrael, it's Bnei Yisrael. The Yisrael the yud should be pronounced. Some people make it as Israel, like how it's said in English sometimes, or even in Farsi. But it's Yisrael, but it's Bnei, not Bnei. Okay? It seems to be a proof from the Gemara that it's not Bnei, in Gemara Brachot. So it's Bnei. So again, so it's Sere and Segol. So we hold this usually Sere is a little more emphasized or stretched out. Sere and Segol. The next one is Chirik Gadol and Chirik Katan. That's where there's only one dot under it. So it's the E sound, right? But so what's the difference between Chirik Gadol and Chirik Katan? Chirik Gadol is that it's a Chirik followed by a Yud. There's a Yud after the letter, like Vichuneka. Vichuneka. So the V, it's Vav Yud. So when it's a Yud, it's called Gadol, and you stretch it out a little more. I know, again, not a lot of people know this and do this, but officially it's Vichuneka, you stretch out a little. But when there's no Yud, it's Katan, it's a quick, like the word Kippah. Just Kaf Pei Hey, so it's just quicker, Kippah. Not Kippah, Kippah. This actually I heard the Syrians pay attention to. They actually do it like their Chirik Katan is more shorter. Kippah. So Kippah and Vichuneka, or anything similar to that, or Ish. With the Yud there. The Ish is the Yud. Ish. Okay? The fourth one is Cholam. Cholam is where there's a dot on the top left. O. Here it doesn't make a difference whether it's just a dot or there's a Vav with the dot. Because we know there's two ways to say O. Just the dot or Vav with the dot on top. O. Those are both the same. They're both called Cholam or Cholam. Yeah, both called Cholam. They're both Gadol. They're both O. So it's like a official stronger O. Where is the smaller O or the weaker O? It's sometimes the kamatz. We said the first one, kamatz, which is the horizontal with the small vertical, like the T. Sometimes we pronounce it as an O, right? Like the Sidurs have. And we're going to have to maybe get one eventually when does it become O? But officially, like in the word honenu. Honenu va'anenu shma' tfilatenu. So under the honenu, under the het is a kamatz, but it's a kamatz katan, so it's not it's o, honenu. That's the right way to say it. Or the honenu meitecha chochma bin avadat. There's a lot of examples like this. Very often it's where it's the beginning of the word and it's followed by dagesh or a shava. So anyways, a lot of times it becomes an o, and that's called the kamatz katan. So that kamatz katan is a quick o, meaning there's the cholam, which is the stronger one, and then this is a quicker one. Okay, again, you're going to say, how am I going to remember all this? You don't necessarily have to basically every single thing. Even if you just learn it and you get understanding, so perhaps you can practice little by little. And one of the most classic examples of a kamatz katan is the word kol. You see, almost every time you see the word kol in the Siddur, it's not a dot on top left. It's, I think always, it's just a kamatz. But it's a kamatz katan, kol. The only place we don't say kol and we say kal is by nishmat kol chai, because there's no makaf. We're going to see it doesn't connect to the next word, so it's kal atzmotai, not kol atzmotai. And the last section, is shuruk and kubutz. Shuruk is when there's a vav with the dot in the middle, so it's u, like the word sur. That's a little more stretched out. It's gadol, it's longer. And then the kubutz is you have three dots that are diagonal from left to right, going down. That's like the word sukkah, that katan, which means it's supposed to be a little shorter, quicker. So it's sukkah instead of sukkah or sur. Again, the difference is very, very subtle. And if you didn't say it exactly, like we keep saying, it doesn't mean you're not yotze, but it's like we said in life, it's good to learn officially the rules. And yeah. So we didn't seem to mention Shava in here. Shava was not mentioned. So it comes out Shava, which is the two dots, one on top of the other, which tells you to stop, is not one of the 10 vowels, because it officially doesn't have a sound really. It stops. So it's out of movement. In fact, the reason why a vowel in Hebrew is called tenuah means to move. It causes to move. So if it's I, u, it tells you how to move the letter. Ba, bi, right? It tells you how to move it. But Shava, officially Shava means shin vav alf in Hebrew. Shav means not or nothing, because it's not really a movement. But we know we're going to get to, not today probably, I guess, there's a concept of shvanah and shvanah. Sometimes the shava does move a little, Like Bereshit, the first word of the Torah, Bereshit. You move it, Bereshit, right? Bishivtecha. The beginning of the word, it moves. There's a few times that it moves a little. There's a dagesh inside, etc. But officially, Shiva is like not one of the 10. It's not officially like a vowel. And not only is it not a vowel, but even sometimes you have a vowel next to Shiva. That means they're together. Like sometimes you have a patach next to the Shiva. Chatav patach. Like even Hashem's name. Under the Aleph, you look at a Siddur, under the Aleph of Hashem's name, if you have Hashem's name spelled Aleph Dal Nun Yud, under the Aleph is a patach, like the horizontal with 2 dots next to it, called a chataf patach. So officially that's supposed to be a little quicker Okay, I don't want to make it too much today, too complicated, but officially every time you see 2 dots next to a vowel, either chataf patach, chataf segol, which is the segol with the 2 dots next to it, the 3 with 2 dots next to it, and the chataf kamatz with a kamatz with 2 dots next to it. All of them are under the same category of the shavas. They're not officially vowels. They're supposed to be very quick. So also the chataf kamatz we see as an o, like in the word tahora. It's to be a quick o, tahora. The segol also is a quick e, etc. Okay, so those are the basic rules of the vowels. And I guess next time we'll continue. We're going to get hopefully the accents, etc. Little by little, hopefully, just so people to know, we're going to hopefully also get to the tunes of the Torah, how to pronounce the tunes. There's a lot of rules of the tunes, and maybe we'll get into exactly how to apply it to the tefillah. And then hopefully maybe we'll get into more halachot of tefillah, and maybe we'll get into a little of the meanings in the tefillah, etc. Okay, B'ezras Hashem, we should be zocheh to pronounce the words and daven properly. Hashem should accept all tefillot. B'rahamim, amen. Ken yiratzon. Baruch Baruch.